Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and I wanted to just show you what I've been up to today. A couple weeks ago, when I first was not able to do very much after my surgery, I was looking at a bunch of YouTube videos for some inspiration of things to try once I actually got better and could make it back into my craft room. And I came across this YouTube channel called My Sister Scrapper. It's a woman named Ginger, and she makes these really cool vertical paper bag mini albums. So I subscribed to her channel, watched all her videos, and thought this is the perfect thing for me to do. And that's as far as I got. Until either yesterday or today, I got an email from this woman named Janice. I subscribed to one of her blogs, and in it was one of her challenges was to play along in this challenge to make this vertical paper bag mini albums. And there was also a link to a Facebook group called Play Along, and I joined that this morning, and I was looking at people's paper bag mini albums, and I thought they were just absolutely adorable, and thought, okay, I have to play along. So after lunch today, I decided to get started. And since I had watched her videos, I kind of knew what kind of supplies I needed already. So I went around the house and got some of the things that I needed. Had to make a couple of sacrifices, a couple changes because I didn't have exactly everything. And unfortunately, I still can't drive, and there's no one around to take me to a craft store. So kind of had to make do with what I have. So the first thing that you need are 6 paper bags. I used the lunch bags from one of my local grocery stores, and these are 5 1/4 by 3 1/8 by 10 5/8. So they were a little bit taller and wider than the bags that Ginger uses in her video. The height doesn't matter because I cut it down to the 8 1/4 that she used as well, and the only issue with that was my bags are a little bit wider. Her bags, I think, were 4 3/4, and mine were 5 1/4, I think. So it was a little bit wider. So I did have to make some adjustments. So I'm going to show you. So the first video of Ginger's was just the supply video. So it's great to watch to get started, to make sure that you have everything you need, and before you start, just to get everything together that you think you're going to need for this project. The second video, which she calls 1A, talks about how to put the paper bags together, how to attach them. So I went through my paper stash, and initially I found this, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. This is the sticker from it, Recollections. Didn't bother to look at what it says on there. Cut it down so that I could start putting my pages together. Well, it was real thick, and I don't have just a regular paper trimmer. I have one of the guillotine ones. So cut through it was no problem, but when I went to score it, it was causing an issue. It was like kind of fraying on the edges. So I tried to put it on there, and I tried to put it with the paper bag, and it just didn't look right. So I realized it was probably a little bit too heavy. So I went back to my stash, and I found other paper. And this, ironically, is called Paper Bag. I believe this might be from A.C. Moore. I don't know if it was from Michaels or A.C. Moore. I can't remember. But I use those. She does use 8 1/2 by 11 sheets in her video. However, I had to use the 12 by 12 because my pages needed to be wider than hers, and she could get 2 out of 1 sheet. I would have had to use 6 sheets, so it was just easier for me to use the 12 by 12, and I also didn't have any 8 1/2 by 11 in the color that I needed, so it actually worked out perfectly for me. So I scored them, I put all the bags together, so that was the first video, and I rounded the corners. She uses decorative edge punches. I don't really have any edge punches. I have lots of decorative punches, but didn't really have any edged ones. So I just decided for the first one, I'll make it easy on myself, and I just rounded the corners. So I put all 6 of those together, and then put it to the side, and started on the second video. The third is actually the third in the series, but it's called 1B, and it's putting the cover together. So when I watched it, I knew you needed chipboard, and I've never really seen chipboard pieces other than chipboard letters and chipboard embellishments at the craft stores. So when I looked at that heavyweight paper, I realized that it said chipboard on it. So this is what I guess would be considered a lightweight chipboard, but I decided again, since I didn't have anything else, to just go with it. Probably got it at Michael's when it was 6 for $1. So I went crazy when they had those 6 for $1 paper sales and just grabbed pretty much 6 of everything that they had. So I do have a bunch of those sitting in my house, so I use that. So the dimensions that I used were a little bit different than hers. I did cut it to 8.5 tall. Paper bags are 8 1/4, so you want to give a little bit of room on the top and the bottom so the pages aren't sticking out at the bottom or the top. So I did cut it to 8.5, but I did need to make a tall, and then I did need to make it a little bit wider, so I cut mine at 5.5. I believe she cuts hers at 5, so mine had to be cut at 5.5. And then for the spine, again, it was 8.5 inches tall, just like hers, and she cut it to 2 5/8, and I cut mine to 2.5. I wanted to give myself a little bit of extra room for embellishments. I love embellishing things. I put way too much on scrapbook pages. Every scrapbook that I've ever given anybody never fits back in the binder. The pages are always just huge. I always create huge scrapbooks, so I figured give myself a little bit more room, and I'm sure it still won't be enough. But those are her first 3 videos. I've gotten through that so far. And I'll give you a couple tips that she also gave in her initial video. She said that this paper bag mini album uses a lot of paper. It's probably best to use a paper pack. I am going to use this one by My Mind's Eye. It's called Lost and Found. Here's some of the papers that are in there. I got this a while ago, and I don't think that I've really used too many pieces of paper from it. I might have used 1 or 2 sheets. So it's been sitting here, and perfect time to use up the paper pad. And it's really good coordinating colors, red, black, and cream, with a little bit of white. I think they're really, really pretty colors, and they will go nicely together. It's easier to do that if you want your pages to flow seamlessly. It's easier to use a series because you know all the papers go together from the paper pad. So I think that that's something that's really, really good to use, and especially if you've had a stack sitting around for a really long time like I have, good way to use it. So I can't wait to get started on the decorating of it. The first couple videos are kind of the boring parts, the assembly, and then getting into the picking the papers and the decorating is a lot more fun. So I'm ready to start on that part of it. The other tip that she gives you that I thought was a really good tip, go through your paper packet first and find what you want for the front and the back covers, and then put at least one of those sheets to the side so that you don't use up all the papers that you really, really love and then realize that the one that you wanted to use for the cover you've already used on the inside. I mean, you can use it on the inside, but make sure you have something left to use on the front and back covers, because that's usually, I think that's the last part of her videos, is covering the front and the back. So I just wanted to give you those couple tips. I hope that you guys play along. I think that it's a really, really cool challenge. It hasn't been that difficult to make so far. I adjusted her measurements again. If you guys are using larger paper bags and you need the measurements for anything, feel free to email me or message me on YouTube, and I will give you my measurements for the bags that I used and then the sizes that I cut everything. If you have questions on where to buy anything, let me know. I'm really excited to finish up this album and, finish up the assembly of the album and get to the fun part, the decorating. And then hopefully I will be able to finish that by the end of this week, and I will be able to put it up on, make another video and show you guys what it looks like. And I really hope that you guys will play along. It's a really, really fun album to make so far. I thought that the most challenging part would be mitering the corners and putting the cover together, and it was so much easier than I thought. So don't be afraid to try, and I would love to see what you guys do if you create a video response, or if you have a Facebook page and you post pictures up there, if you have a website, a blog, and you posted things on there. Please leave a link to it. I would love to go check it out. And thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you'll play along, and I will post another video soon. Feel free to leave comments and become a subscriber. Thanks guys. I'll see you later. Bye.